I guess for me, there's nothing better than hearing a soft moo and seeing a cow aggressively licking off a newborn calf. Maternal instinct is something that doesn't seem to be talked about much, and we feel like it's very, very important. Um, I think that there's a lot of variation in the types of maternal instinct that you see, and again, to us, what's perfect for us is that soft moo and a cow aggressively licking off her calf. But again, I think that there's probably different levels. There's excellent, and then there's satisfactory or functional, and then there's problems that linger out there, and they're real. Um, uh, so, want to just spend a little time talking about maternal instinct, and I think depending on your ranch and where you're at and what you're doing, and how you're running your cows, maternal instinct to what you're looking for versus what somebody else is looking for is not always the same thing. I know some of the bigger ranches, and you're out there in middle of nowhere. These cows, they want them to be very aggressive and protective mothers, and I get that. And if you're calving in January and trying to haul everything to the barn as they're born, sometimes a cow that's too good of a mom's inconvenient. But I guess to me, at least she loves her calf, and at the end of the day, you appreciate that. And if it's such thing as a problem, it's a good problem. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum here, where a person has to intervene, or these cows don't want to be moms. And here's an example of a cow beating her calf, and maybe even worse than that is a cow that just has a calf and walks off. So lots of different things that I think that a person needs to understand that are out there.
So how do we get this maternal instinct thing right? And I think the answer for us, or what we've had to do, is to just slow down. It helps us avoid that temptation of using these young bulls that have these fantastic EPD profiles. We want to make sure that before we use a bull that he's got daughters in production, or his sire has been used a lot, or the maternal side of his pedigree is known for good cows and strong maternal instinct. I guess another thing for us is that we want to make sure that whoever's making the breeding decisions on that particular herd is also the one calving the cows. Because, hey, if you're the one calving the cows, you're not going to put up with the problems that someone would if you're just making an EPD selection on cattle. And I think the other thing that's very important to talk about is selection pressure and setting your standards high, and don't tolerate cattle that aren't right. Get rid of them. Cut your losses. And I think that has to do with all these traits, and set your standards, and the cattle that don't meet your standards, get rid of them. So on another note, I've got my elk hanging on the wall, and that's a big victory here for me. So it's a good week. As always, hit the subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the like button, share this video, and look forward to talking to you again.